And then I always like to change it back to where I can see all of you at the same time still, because I don't need to look at myself. There we go. All right. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday.
If you're just joining us, this is class number 1 ever. Welcome. Really hope you have a good time. This is class number 2 from the week. You made it back. Excellent. And if you're one of my longtime participants, welcome back to you as well. So I'm very excited to have you all. Let's just really quickly remind ourselves of how to just help us have a good, safe, fun class. We're going to make sure we have a nice clear space to exercise in, right? Nothing to step on or trip over. We're going to tuck our equipment close to the chair. A sturdy chair is super important. Rolly chairs move, which gets a bit dicey when we are also moving. I encourage you to have sturdy footwear or bare feet, okay, to reduce any slipping and sliding. Water bottle close by is really great. We are going to use a stretchy band and a weight today. If you don't have a stretchy band, that's okay. You'll do the movement with us. And you can use anything as a weight. You can use your water bottle. You can use a bag of rice. Get creative, okay? And then just reminding yourself too, to make this challenging but doable. This is your exercise class. And if you have any questions or concerns about any of the movements throughout class, please go ahead and ask. Other than that, just reminding that this is a virtual recorded class, and if you have noise on your end, we will all be able to hear it. So if there's any noise on your end, phone rings, if someone's chatting in the living room, please put yourself on mute for all of that, okay? All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with just a hand on my belly. We're going to get into our breathing pattern. So we're just going to breathe in, fill up the belly. And then we're going to breathe out through pursed lips. Good. We're going to breathe in, fill up the belly. Breathe out through that invisible straw. Okay, one more time. Breathe in, fill up the belly. And breathe out. Good. Let's do our best to maintain that. So continue that pattern. And we're just going to start some movements as we go. So we're just going to move our hands in some figure 8 movements. Again, we're focusing on that breathing pattern as we start to move. Brilliant. We're going to just start those figure 8s, couple in one direction, and then we're going to end up switching directions as we continue that same breathing pattern. So we're going to reverse this figure 8 in 3, 2, 1, and reverse. Okay, because that's always super fun for the brain to get used to one way of moving and then changing it up. So again, we're going to maintain that breathing pattern, everybody. We're still breathing in and out through pursed lips. Excellent. Okay, we're only going to do a couple more figure 8s. So we're going to change it up in 3, 2, 1, and you can rest your hands. We're going to focus on our feet. We're just going to push through our toes to lift up our heels and then down. So again, push through the toes, lift up your heels and down. So we call these seated heel lifts or seated calf raises. But this is a neat one that you can do on your own in just a really small way to improve your blood circulation. So how your blood and oxygen move throughout your body. And what's really interesting is there can be a significant positive impact on your blood sugar levels as well. It just has to do with how those calf muscles are structured. There's some new research out on that. So as we continue to lift and lower the heels, we're going to take our hands and we're just going to push one hand forward at a time. Good. So think about lifting and lowering the heels. You can do both heels at the same time, or if you need to do just one at a time, that's fine too. All right. Remember that breathing pattern. We're still exhaling through pursed lips as we move. Perfect. Okay, we're going to keep lifting and lowering our heels, even if they're starting to get really, really tired. But what we're going to do is one hand pushes forward and the other pushes across. There we go. So forwards, across, forwards, across, forwards, across, forwards, across. Okay, we've got a couple more patterns here. Then we're going to change which arm is doing what. One arm pushes forward, one arm pushes across. And we're going to alter, or not alternate, we're going to change them in 3, 2, 1. So now the across arm pushes forward, the other arm goes across. Forwards, across. Forwards, across. Good. So as we keep moving, we are also going to change what our feet are doing. And the challenge is to continue moving your arms as we change our feet. So now instead of lifting the heels, we are going to lift the toes, like you're tapping your feet to the beat. And you'll notice I had my feet further underneath me for the calf raises. And you're already at that steep range. So I had to move my feet out a little bit so I could better lift my toes up. Okay. So if you're finding that a bit awkward, bit of a struggle, just try moving your feet a little bit out in front of you. Okay, so we're lifting and lowering our toes. Now we've got our arms moving, and now we're going to alternate. And what that looks like is forwards, across, then change, forwards, across, then change, forwards, across, change, forwards, across, change, forwards, across, change, forwards, across, change. So what's really happening is one hand is going forwards, or sorry, one arm's going across and then forwards before switching arms. There we go. So that makes it quite a bit more tricky here. If you need to stop your feet and just focus on your arms, that's okay. You're more than welcome to do that. So again, we're really focused on our breathing pattern, team. I know it's a lot of different things to think about. All right, we're going to completely change our movement in 3, 2, 1, and rest. You can swing your arms out. Absolutely brilliant, team. All right, so now I've got my feet stacked a little bit more underneath me again. And this time I'm going to just step 1 foot out at a time. Good. So we're just stepping 1 foot out. As we step that foot out, I'm going to encourage you to keep your toes up so we're touching our heel. And then just being aware, especially if you tend to get a sore back sometimes, we're going to be really conscientious of keeping our torso still. So not rocking forwards and back. Think about trying to balance a plate on your head. So can I keep that plate balanced on my head while my feet move? That means we're doing a good job of staying balanced in this seated position. We're tightening up through the core. There we go. All right, now as we step forward, we touch. Touch. So we're touching across to our stepping leg. And while we're doing this, we are maintaining our breathing pattern. So breathe out through pursed lips, team. There we go. Brilliant work. Great job, team. Okay, we're going to change what we're doing in 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, before we get into some more cardio, this is a chance to bring the heart rate back down and work a little bit on what we call our hinge positioning, or a better way to bend forwards. So what I'm going to ask you is we put our feet wide apart. Okay, so a little bit wider than the width of our chair. Now, I'm again going to ask you find that tall posture. And we're going to slowly bend forward. And you'll notice I'm not losing this tall posture. I'm keeping my tall posture. And I'm just going to, until the point where it feels tight or pinchy at the front of my hips. Then we're going to slowly push through your feet to come back. Once again, we go forwards. There's no rounding through my back. And you go, even if you move just a little bit, you go to just that pinchy feeling at the front of your hips and push through your feet to come back. Okay, forwards. And then push through your feet. That's the really important one. Don't just think about coming up. Think about pushing through your feet to come back up. Okay, you might start feeling a bit of a stretch through insides of your legs, groin, those adductor muscles, very important for hip and knee stability. And again, if you start feeling anything in your lower back, there's a good chance you're actually rounding. And I really want you to concentrate on keeping your chest up. And we just push forward through the hips a little bit and then push through the feet to come back up. There's no rounding through the back here. Perfect, because we will use this movement to build up. So do a couple more, because we're going to use that movement to eventually, in a couple weeks, build up to this movement here, which some of you may know as a hip hinge. Some of you might know as a deadlift. A couple different names for it, but it's the ability to move through your hips without stressing through your lower back. Okay. All right. Brilliant. You can bring those feet back in. We're going to do a couple rounds of some cardio bursts. 1 minute of working, 30 seconds of rest. You should be getting yourself huffing and puffing a bit as we do this. Okay. So the first thing we're going to start with is we're just going to step our foot out to the side. You're going to keep your hands on your hips, or if you'd like a bit of a challenge, you're going to keep your hands just behind your ears. The timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go. So we're just stepping one foot out to the side at a time. Perfect. Now, if you are choosing to stand, you can always have one hand up and one hand ready to grab your balance support. But I would encourage you to go side to side. So we're still doing this movement, but if you are choosing to stand, your side movement looks more like this. Okay? You'll find you'll get more out of the movement that way. Good, so we've got about 20 seconds left. Do what you can here. And as always, if you're choosing to stand, getting lower to the ground, meaning bend your knees a little bit, will create more stability. Can think about being in a bit of a wrestling stance. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. So again, we got 30 seconds to rest here. You can lean forward using that hinge position. Lean forward onto your legs or into a table or chair. This will help open up your lungs a little bit to help you catch your breath. So this is our recovery position. Okay. So even if we're breathing more heavily, we still want to think about exhaling through pursed lips. Okay. In 10 seconds, we're going to go again. And this time we're going to kick and touch our knee. Kick and touch our knee. Now, if you've got a sore back or the kick is a little bit too much for your legs, you can just lift the knee. Okay. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 1 minute. Challenging but doable, team. And we're maintaining our pursed lip exhale. Maintain your breathing pattern. There we go. Excellent work. Good. We're staying strong through our torso, right? Keep those core muscles tight. Good. You're past the halfway point. We're getting close. Do what you can. The goal is to keep moving for a minute before we start worrying about our intensity. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Brilliant. So again, we're focused on catching our breath, get into that recovery position. Okay, you guys are doing fantastic. How are we feeling so far? You can give me a thumbs up. You can give me a thumbs down. Give me a eh. Okay, see quite a few thumbs up, which is fantastic. All right. Brilliant. Okay, team. So our next one, we're gonna have our feet a little bit further out in front. And we're gonna pull 1 foot back at a time as we bend our elbows. And we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Now, as we start this, I just want to remind, there may be a couple of you who have struggled with a Baker's cyst or swelling at the back of your knee. If that is you, what you might want to think about instead is lifting up one knee so we're not getting that repetitive bending at the back of your knee, okay? Or you just do a smaller range. So think about what's best for you and your body. Make the adaptation as necessary. Otherwise, we're focused on just getting that heart rate up. Let's go, let's go. Make sure you can maintain your breathing pattern the whole time. Doing fantastic, team. Almost there. Last couple of seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Woo! There we go, team. Excellent, excellent job. So really focus on that breathing pattern. Good. Okay, in about 15 seconds, our rest time is over for this set. And what we're going to do now is reach above us and lift our knee. So think about climbing up a ladder. Higher you reach, the harder it is. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Brilliant job, team. Reach your arm above you and pull down, like you're pulling yourself up. Good. Keep breathing out through pursed lips. Halfway there, team. Well done. Keep up your breathing pattern as you climb. Pull yourself up. We're almost at the top of this wall. Think about how great you're doing, how great it is that you just showed up for yourself today. And you've got just 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, rest. Brilliant. Good job, team. And again, the number one goal is just, can you maintain some movement for that full minute? Okay, no matter how small of a movement it is. And then once you can do that, then we starting to slowly increase intensity, okay? Now we've got just one last interval before we move on to some strength work today. Okay. And our last movement that we're going to do, we're going to take our arms. We're going to open up one to the side at a time, or you can open both at the same time to increase intensity. And we're going to just step out to the side. This time we're staying stable on one leg as the other moves versus transferring our weight. So we stay stable on one leg and just reach one leg out. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Excellent job, team. Good work. So keep breathing out through pursed lips. You are halfway. Reaching that arm out to the side, stepping our foot out. You are in control of the intensity here. Good. 3, 2, 1, and rest. There we go, team. Again, we might want to find our recovery position. Okay. Excellent, excellent job. So those were our cardio bursts. Did we do enough of them? I'm seeing some frantic nodding. Should we do more of them? No. I'll save a couple for next week. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we're just bringing our heart rates back down, getting our breathing under control, and then we're going to change gears into some strength training. Okay, really think about building up some strength and some muscle. As we're catching our breath, are there any questions at this point in class? Especially about the exercises. Okay, a focused group today. So if you need some more rest time, please take charge of your own well-being, listen to your body, take the time as needed. But I am going to show us our first strength exercise for today. Okay, so this exercise, we are going to use the stretchy band. And if you do not have a stretchy band, that's okay. I'm going to get you just to have your hands on the outsides of your thighs close to your knee. Okay, that's how we can do that alternatively. If you do have a stretchy band, I'm going to ask you to do something a bit odd. We're going to wrap the band around your thighs. So from the underneath of your legs to the top, crisscrosses, and then we can hold it from there. Okay. Does everyone feel like they got set up? And again, if you don't have a stretchy band, you have just your hands on the outsides of your legs, because it's going to be the same thing. From here, it's time to start working on our glutes. And your glutes are your bum muscles. So you are going to pretend to crush a walnut between your bum cheeks. Okay, and it sounds silly, but the visual does help. So we're going to tighten those glutes, and we should see your knees pull apart against the band. And we're going to hold, and then we're going to relax. And again, if you don't have a band, you just have your hands on the outsides of your legs. Your hands are fighting a battle with your knees to add some resistance. Okay, now what's important here is that nobody holds their breath. We're going to time it to our exhale. Are we ready? So we're going to take a breath in, and we're going to exhale, squeeze your glutes. And then we relax them. Take a breath in, and then exhale, squeeze your glutes. Good. Everyone's going to have slightly different timing. Some of you really struggle to maintain an exhale. Some of you are able to maintain a little bit longer. That's okay. Listen to your bodies. Once again, we're going to exhale as we squeeze. Good. And then relax. Okay. We're going to squeeze those glute muscles as we pull apart the knees. And then we relax. Good. We're going to do a couple more. After a couple of these, you should feel like you're able to tighten your glutes a little bit more strongly. And that's just because we're building that, what's called a neuromuscular connection. So it's our nervous system that connects our brain to our muscles and tells our muscles when to work. And so we're telling them to work, 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 and it's improving that communication. So we're going to do 3 more together here if you can. Ready? Squeeze those glutes, pull apart the knees, pause, and then relax. 2 more. Squeeze the glutes, pull apart the knees, relax. And last one, squeeze the glutes, pull apart the knees, hold, and relax. Brilliant. Okay, you can untie your legs. Perfect. Okay, and now what we're going to do, using the skill we just practiced, we're going to take the band. And again, if you do not have a band, you can do this without the band, or you can use something that doesn't stretch, like a towel, to do the same movement. Your arms just aren't going to move, but it'll provide that same resistance. We've got our arms out in front of us, and we're going to pull the band apart. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Okay, and again, if you've got something that doesn't stretch between your hands, you're just going to pull and hold without holding your breath. And my challenge to you is, can you squeeze your glutes first and hold them tight as you pull apart the band? And if you can do that, it's going to feel like it's a lot easier to pull the band apart. And that's just because we've added some stability. Anytime we increase our stability, we're often able to increase our movement or mobility. Good. So we're pulling apart the band as we squeeze our glutes. Good work, everybody. Remember, if your shoulders are tired, lower the band and don't pull apart as far. You can always pull just a little ways and hold for a little bit longer. Good. And 3. Good. 2. Breathe out as you pull. And 1. Breathe out as you pull. Glutes are tight, and relax. Put the band to the side. Okay, now question. Who feels like they can really feel their glute muscles now? Some of you. Excellent. Okay, if you feel like, that's weird, I've never quite done that before, I wasn't feeling it a whole lot, that is something you can just practice. Sometimes that communication is a little bit weaker, and by practicing, learning how to do that, we get better at it. Okay. All right. Put your feet wide, just like we did before. And from this position, we're going to do some sit to stands. Now, this wide foot position, we often call the sumo position. So think sumo wrestler, a sumo sit to stand. Okay. Again, have something within grabbing distance. You can hold a weight to make it more challenging, or you stay seated, push your feet in, and then relax. Okay. Let's do 10 as best we can. If you get less than that, that's okay. Do what you can. And up. We really push through our feet, and then down, 2, 3. Okay. Maybe you only go part way up, and that's what you're able to do today. That's okay. Up, down, 2, 3. Now, what I want you to do here, gang, is as we start to get up out of the seat, I want you to think about those glutes again. So can we squeeze those glutes together and push through our feet to stand up and then sit back down again? You can have your hands wherever is most comfortable for you. Okay. Down, 2, 3. Ready? We're going to tighten up those glutes like we practiced. Push through your feet. Good. Down, 2, 3, and up. Down, 2, 3, up. I believe we have 3 more. Down, 2, 3, and up. down, 2, 3, and this should be number 10. Push through the feet, breathe out as we stand up and down, 2, 3. Rest.
I can only do that if I push my hands on my legs to stand up.
Yep, you needed the little boost.
Right, is that all right?
It's okay.
Okay, it's
We're
cheating.
it's not cheating. That would be like saying some of us using a weight, but those who aren't using a weight are cheating,
Oh, okay.
right? It makes it a bit easier. It makes it doable for you. But
Yeah.
as you get better at it, we're going to try to reduce that to make it more challenging for you.
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. There we go, team. Okay, did everyone feel pretty strong in those sit to stands? A lot of you usually tell me about how thinking about your glute muscles really makes a difference in both your balance and your ability to do those kinds of movements. Okay, so really try to feel that contraction happening and try to put it into your day-to-day as well. All right, so put your feet back out wide. We've got one more thing to do. This is going to get your heart rates up a little bit. So with our feet wide, we're going to march. Now this is interesting because with the feet out wide, we've lost some of our balance from this position. And if you are standing up, the goal would be to bring your knee up and out to the side. So if you're choosing to stand rather than bring the leg up, we're bringing it up and out to the side. And that's going to change how balanced you are. And that's okay. All right. So we're doing that wide march. Think about your core staying strong. So we're tightening up those belly muscles a little bit. Okay, and you can swing your arms. You can keep them for balance, whatever you would like to do. Good. And what I want you to think about here is as one leg lifts up, your other leg is pushing down into the ground. So one leg lifts up by the other leg pushing into the ground. Now maintain your breathing here. Right, we're breathing out through pursed lips. Good, we're gonna go for about 10 more seconds here, team. Do what you can. Excellent. 3, 2, 1, rest. Awesome. Great job, team. Great work. Okay, so feel free to get into that recovery position. Okay, catch your breath. But we are going to repeat all of those exercises, starting with the band. And we had the band wrapped around our thighs. Okay, so catch your breath as needed. Take the time you need to recover. And when you're ready, you can put the band around your legs, or you can put your hands just on the outside of your knees, okay?
I'll be right back.
Yep, no worries. All right, get your glutes ready. Might need a new walnut. And we squeeze the glutes to pull apart the knees and then relax. Squeeze the glutes to pull apart the knees, relax. Good. Remember to maintain your breathing pattern here, team. No holding your breath. So squeeze the glutes to pull apart your knees. Bring it back. Squeeze your glutes to pull apart the knees and back. There we go. Awesome job, team. Got a couple more here. Brilliant. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to take the band and unwrap the legs. And now the band is going to be held with our hands. We're going to think about how we just practice squeezing our glutes. We want to maintain that connection through the next exercise where we hold the band, squeeze the glutes, and pull the band apart, and then bring it back. So again, squeeze the glutes, pull the band apart, and then bring it back. Once again, super helpful here to exhale as you pull the band. Good work, team. So pull the band apart. Glutes are tight. Good. Remember to lower your hands a little bit if you start feeling it in your neck. 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Okay. Rest there with the band. Do you remember what was next? It was our sit to stands, but with a funny foot positioning. So we've got our feet out wide, knees are wide. Have your hands wherever you'd like. And once again, we're going to push through our feet. Think about tightening those glutes again to stand up and then down, 2, 3, and up, down, 2, 3. There we go. Up, down, 2, 3. Remember, this is your exercise class. You are in control, and you do what you can. Good. Breathe out as you stand. Brilliant job, team. Maybe some of you are staying seated and just pushing your feet into the ground. Hold and then relax, right? We call those seated sit to stands because you get those same muscles tightened up and stronger so that at some point we can get you to the point where you're standing up and sitting back down. Good. Is this number 8? Is either number 8 or number 12? That's always a fun game we play in this class. Brilliant. And 10. Good. And rest.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Remember that recovery position. Great work, team. If you're feeling pretty good, right? You've still got lots of energy. You're in control of your breathing. You can start on the marching right away. If you're feeling like you need to get control of your breathing again first, just get into the recovery position. Focus on just your breathing, okay? Good work. Brilliant. Okay, so when you feel ready, seated marching, we're just pulling the leg up one at a time. If you are choosing to stand, remain balanced, but we're just going to pull one leg up and out to the side as you go, okay? And again, make sure you have balance support within grabbing distance, okay? Great job, team. That's it. So we're marching. I'm just going to go for about 15 more seconds. before we change what we're doing here. Keep breathing out through pursed lips. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Brilliant. Grab a sip of water. Again, get into that recovery position. I've got really good news for you. We are going to do that just a third and final time, just to get extra strong. And some of you might remember from the spring when we're presented with situations that are really challenging. Instead of going, oh no, we just lie to ourselves and go, woo! Give ourselves energy to face the challenge. There we go. Brilliant. All right, again, rest as long as you need it. This is your exercise class. So we are going to start the final set. The first exercise we did, we had the band wrapped around the legs or your hands on the outsides of your knees. Okay, and then from here, we're tightening our glutes to pull apart the knees and then relax. We're squeezing the glutes to pull apart the knees and then relax. It is helpful to breathe out here. All right. So for this final set, we're going to change it up just a little bit here. And what that means is in a couple of seconds, we're going to go for 30 seconds. And with as much control as you can, let's see how many of these we can do in 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. So again, control is key. We're not just rushing through them, but how many times can you pull your knees out apart against the band or against your hands being on the outsides of your knees, okay? So a couple more seconds here. This is where the fatigue starts to set in a little bit more. Keep up your breathing pattern. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, that was a little bit different. Okay, now we undo the band. Band goes to our hands. Brilliant. All right, so we got our hands in front of us, and we're gonna nice and slow to start, pull the band apart and bring it back. As we go to pull the band apart, we're tightening our glutes so we provide some stability to help with this movement. Good work, everybody. Okay, in a couple seconds here, we're going to see how many of these we can do with control in 30 seconds. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So we're pulling the band apart for 30 seconds. We're keeping in control of the movement. So we're not necessarily rushing through. Good. Remember, you can lower the arms to take some pressure off the shoulders and neck. Couple more seconds here. You've got this. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Excellent. Excellent job, team. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so let's put the band to the side. Catch your breath a little bit, because as soon as we start trying to do as many as we can with control, does get our heart rate up, challenges our breathing more. Okay. Well done, team. So what I'm going to ask you for the sit to stands is how many can we do in just 30 seconds. Okay, and I would like you to count, and it would be a good idea to write that number down for your reference so that when we do it in a couple weeks from now, you can look at the improvement, see what has improved. Okay, again, control is key. We're not rushing through these, but how many can we do with control in 30 seconds? And we're starting in 3, feet apart, 2, 1, and go. So we're standing up with control and down. Again, we're still really aware of our bodies. We have something within grabbing distance to help us balance if needed. Control is key here. There we go. Almost there, team. You're doing fantastic. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Whew,
Gladly. Oh.
that's a tough one.
Oh.
Again, this is where we're going to need to recover, catch our breath. Remember, if you're puffing and puffing, we still create that pursed lip position with our mouths on the exhale. So even if it sounds a bit more like a, okay, until we start to slow it down. Before we do just a little bit of marching before our stretch time, go ahead and tell me, are you feeling good still? Feeling not so good or really not good? Go ahead and show. Perfect. Okay, so quite a few thumbs up. So that is good. All right. Good, good. Okay, team. We're just going to finish up with that little bit of marching. And then it will be time to cool down and stretch. Where did the time go? I'm not sure. Happened very fast today. Okay, so we're into our marching. Got our feet wide. Even if you're here and lifting up the leg is not doable for you at the moment, we're just going to lift up through the heel. But this position, at least we're creating some mobility through the hips, which can help with walking, getting up out of bed, getting up off the ground, heaven forbid. Okay, but we do need some movement through our hips to be able to do that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're marching just a little bit here. There we go. Thinking about tightening through our core. We're not rocking forwards and back. Great job, team. Keep up that pursed lip exhale, everybody. And 10 more seconds, whether you're seated or standing or resting. 3, 2, 1, and rest.
Okay.
Okay, if you need some active rest and recovery, you can move your hands in some slow figure eights, or you can go right into our recovery position. I did notice a couple comments popped up in the chat. I'm just gonna make sure there's no questions that I'm missing. So let's just focus on our breathing pattern here while I quickly have a look. All right, there we go. All right, perfect, perfect. So someone just had to leave early. And then there was a really good comment in there too, just about the intensity. So I think that's a really good thing to talk about, because always the first 2 or 3 weeks of class, I get so excited at being back that I talk a mile a minute and we kind of just go, go, go. So that is fair feedback to receive. And I really would like to remind everybody that this is your class. So this should be the kind of class where everybody should be able to participate. And what I'll make sure to do for next week is to reincorporate a lot of our modifications, okay? Things like if we're marching, right? This is a big range of motion. If we reduce the range of motion, so rather than lift the leg, we lift the heel, that's going to reduce the intensity. So range of motion, another example would be reaching all the way up overhead is more intense than reaching halfway up. Okay, the speed that we move is going to increase or decrease intensity. So if we're moving our arms really, really quickly, that's going to be more intense than moving them more slowly. And then the third thing is the number of limbs that are moving at a time. So if we're marching and moving arm and leg, maybe we're just moving one arm at a time. Maybe we're moving just one leg at a time. Less muscles working at the same time means our oxygen demand lowers, the intensity lowers, okay? So I'll make sure we remind ourselves of that next week, Tuesday and Thursday. And for now, let's pull up that elbow. It's time to stretch. And again, I super encourage all of you, if you need a different modification, if you feel a bit overwhelmed, if you feel like something isn't quite right for your body, speak up. I am so happy to support you however I can, okay?
Oh, hey, Jill, can you, since we're just doing this, can you just talk about the benefits of stretching, please?
Yeah, of course I can. That's a great question. So the cool down in general after we work is giving purposeful time for our body to reverse and go back down to a resting state. You can go ahead and switch arms. So in our warm-up, we're preparing our body to start working harder. So that's where we start getting our heart rate up, blood pressure up, breathing increases, all these signs. And the cool down is to start reversing all that. Because as we start working, whether you stand up to start moving around, exercise, anything at all, from rest to movement, even something as simple as your blood vessels, arteries, your capillaries, they get a little wider to allow an increase in blood flow. When we start to cool down, we signal to our body, okay, you can start to constrict again, narrow down. We're not going to have as much blood flowing. That's where if you suddenly jump up and you feel a little woozy from that, if anyone's ever done that, that was your body not being ready, so your blood pressure drops. Okay, now stretching can help relax the arms there, stretch a leg out, reach for your toes. When we stretch like this, we're encouraging our muscle to lengthen so that we can get into different ranges of motion. Okay, so something as simple as, you know, we do this stretch with our arm so that we can continue to brush our hair, put a shirt on, right? So lengthening the muscles here can help with that movement of the shoulder. Washing your hair needs this mobility to be able to support that. Okay, even tying something up behind your back. We need this mobility to be able to accomplish that movement. Okay, so that stretching can help increase that length of the muscles, and it reduces some of that tension that's in the muscles. So some of you that get cramping or muscle spasms, some stretching can help reduce the tension, so you're less likely to have some of that. You can go ahead and switch legs. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes, thanks so much.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Whereas if we just stopped after this, intense exercise, it would be just what? What?
I mean, honestly, it's not terrible. Like nothing bad's going to happen, but it's all about optimizing how our body feels. You are going to feel a lot better by purposefully calming your body back down, stretching a little bit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I mean, another example is someone was talking about on Tuesday how when we were, oh, maybe that wasn't this class. Maybe it was a different class. I had somebody, we were pulling our heel up towards our bum and they went, oh, it's cramping. And their muscle isn't used to lifting this, but the front of their leg, their quad muscle, was not used to that stretch. Because too much time standing or sitting.
That was this class.
Was it? Perfect. That's right, because we did the balance. There we go. You can go ahead and prop your leg up onto your shin or pull it all the way up to the thigh.
Could I ask you something about the stretchy band?
You betcha.
Do you prefer the kind you've got with the handles or just the elasticy one?
It depends on you. And what I mean by that is the one with handles I find a lot easier to grab. So although if any of you kind of struggle with some hand weakness or arthritis in the hands, using a band without handles, you can just wrap the band around your palm to help grip. But I do find this a bit more sturdy for the hand. But the handled ones do cost quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do prefer the ones without handles. There's no right or wrong.
Okay, great.
These also, the benefit, there's fabric around this.
Yeah.
And you'll see that most often in gyms because they get a lot more wear and tear, and the fabric prevents, if the band snaps and finally breaks down,
Yeah.
it doesn't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Less
And
of a
thanks.
concern when you're on your own.
And thanks for doing these classes. I'm glad you're back.
Oh, absolutely. Let's switch legs. I'm so happy to be back. And like I said, I might have gotten a bit excitable. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed with the intensity or structure of the class, just let me know. And just remember, you are in control and I'm just here to support you as best I can. And there is nothing wrong with going, Jill, slow down a little bit. There we go. Is there any other questions for today, team? Go for it.
Well, when we put our legs like you're doing right now, there's a tendency for me to sort of tilt and take my bum off the chair, and that's no good, right?
To do this?
Yeah.
It's normal if this is super, super tight, so you struggle to keep your bum down. Otherwise, try to keep the bum down, but you can pull your knee in and lean forward a little bit. You'll feel that stretch higher up. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people like to push down, which gets the front of your hip, but this one's really good, especially if you struggle with a sore back sometimes.
Thank you.
Jill,
Yes.
the recordings for the newer people, how long before a specific recording is made available online?
Sometime between 1 day and 7 days. It just depends on the overall workload of BC Lung.
Yeah.
And it is BC Lung that you would have to access them through, correct?
Yes, either just Google BC Lung, or even just Breathe Right with Jill pops it up, but BC Lung exercise videos, and it'll pop up. They've got a YouTube channel with all the exercise videos over the last 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, really, really great. So we're gonna take in a breath together. Feel free to have your hands wherever is most comfortable for you. But I encourage us, let's take a breath in. Slowly exhale. One more time, breathe in. And exhale. Brilliant. Shake it out. All of you, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so great to have you. And I hope you had fun. And remember, each class is different. So
Yep.
it is worthwhile to come back